We only see a few frames of Leonard after his execution of Teddy, and where he goes from there is a mystery, except that I may be overthinking it, but Natalie will take Teddy's place as Leonard's handler to save her own life. Here's why and how. Natalie sent Leonard after Dodd, but Leonard set Dodd free. We're missing some information, but some things can be assumed. Dodd is a tough guy and a criminal who received a humiliating beatdown, and tough guys don't take insults or assault very gracefully. It's safe to assume that he'll be back for revenge. Some missing info is the scene where Leonard confronts Dodd. Keep in mind that he's wrongly accusing the tough guy of beating up a woman, which Leonard did unknowingly. But we can assume it didn't go well, because he resets after the confrontation, after he's already running away. Leonard didn't write anything down, so he doesn't know what happened. But another assumption can be made, which is who Dodd would target first for revenge. Natalie. Here's why. If Leonard made it to Dodd without resetting, he'd remember why he was there, and he knows no reason to leave Natalie's name out of the false accusation. So we can assume Leonard accused him, Dodd denied beating Natalie, and things escalated. He would soon get the jump on Dodd, even if he didn't remember why. Nevertheless, he did put Natalie's life in danger by naming her, because she's an easier target to find than Leonard the Nomad. Luckily for Natalie, he delivered news that might save her from a violent ending. He did not reset after letting Dodd go, and during his conversation with Natalie, meaning that Dodd running free is information he could give her in that moment, and he knows no reason to withhold that info from her. And since she sent Leonard after him, she would absolutely ask about his fate. Natalie is smart enough to operate as a criminal middleman, so we can assume she would piece together that Dodd was coming back. And odds are, maybe not alone. Natalie needs Dodd and company taken out, but she is not a murderer. Her best option is to take over Teddy's role as handler to this unaware serial killer, and we already know that she is clever enough to manipulate him on the fly. Now, the obvious downside to this theory appears to be the name John G. Teddy spent over a year targeting and profiting from every John G he could find, and obviously he was running low on candidates because he introduced the name James G to widen the pool. With John G's now a rarity in the area, it's even less likely that Dodd knows anyone of that name, and Leonard will not kill random people with random names. But Natalie has access to an infinite number of John G's. Or rather, she has evidence of one that she can alter an infinite number of times. The photocopy license of John Edward Gammell. Let's put a pin in this for a moment. We'll come right back, because we need to focus on Natalie, the middleman between criminal buyer and criminal seller. Everyone trusts her to be their safe distance, their legal deniability of wrongdoing, which is an easy balance for Natalie to achieve, because she's a bartender and she checks everyone's IDs. If someone in the deal turns out to be a police informant, she knows their legal name, meaning she has the ability to destroy everyone equally, so everyone plays nice. Alright, back to that pin. There was only one page in the envelope that she gave to Leonard, but that does not mean her DMV contact only printed out one person's ID. At this point in the story, she already knew that Dodd was running free, and could easily have supplied her DMV contact with a list of names. She would have received a packet of photocopied pages, and my guess is half of them would have been John Edward Gammell. Here's why. After she gave Leonard Teddy's ID, she dipped out quick. I presume that she went home, cut Dodd's photo out of his photocopied ID, and glued it to an extra copy of Teddy. then photocopy that to hide the alteration. Presto changeo, Dodd would become a John G, whose information neatly matches up with Leonard's investigation. And this can be done to every single name that Natalie connects to Dodd. Then all she has to do is repeat the diner scene. Lure him there, give him the new John G, go home and wait for him to avenge his wife's murder, then lure him to the diner again with another altered page. This act can go on until Natalie feels certain no one is left alive who cares about Dodd's humiliation. But I doubt the whole thing would go so smoothly, and there are some obvious complications to point out. For starters, if Leonard follows the address on the altered page, he'll find Teddy's house without any sign of his target around. Natalie could dismiss this by saying that the person must not have updated his address since he moved. However, there's always the danger that Leonard sniffs out her lie, and that information survives a reset, similar to how and why he executed Teddy. She's good, but can she run a flawless campaign of theatrics without implicating herself? And of course, is Natalie smart enough to walk away and stay away when the Dodd situation is resolved? Or would she use Leonard for her own paydays like Teddy did, tempting fate and irony until she's eventually killed by her own monster? Finally, what if someone else intercepts Leonard for their own gain? Burt and the motel owner were already testing ways to use Leonard to their benefit. Who's to say they don't figure out the same serial killer manipulation as Teddy and Natalie before them? How many bodies will this man stack up before someone finally puts him down? I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe Dodd really did refuse to return out of fear for his life. And maybe Leonard wandered aimlessly after killing Teddy, with a cold case forever tattooed on his body. But I kinda like my theory better, so I'm rolling with it. Until next time, keep reading between them lines. Hey, are you subscribed? Would you kindly like and maybe comment on this video? And maybe a couple others on the channel too? I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.